interview. You know, we seen the snippet of it. This Oblock Louie did an interview. You know, we seen the snippet of it. This the first time we really seen somebody that close to the King Von situation that kind of did an interview. You know, we listened to it. We heard Louie. I'm gonna give you my opinion on it, to be honest with you. One thing I noticed is that it kind of sound like, you know, Louie was lucky to be alive. You can clearly tell he took a headshot, you know. You can tell he getting himself back together, his motor skills and everything, because he sounded a little different than how he used to sound like on those old King Von lives and shit like that. So you can tell that God blessed him and saved his life, you know. I had an opportunity to speak with Louie over the phone. I'm not going to tell y'all guys our conversation that we had. I'm going to keep that under the personal act. But I had an opportunity to speak with him. I knew this interview was coming real soon. I'm lucky enough to be a drill historian, so I get a chance to get some of the information that a lot of people don't get first. I thought the interview was dope. I didn't see it, but I seen the snippet of it. We get a chance to see Louie' temperament. I got a chance to feel his temperament over the phone. You know, they spoke about the night King Von woke up and gave Quando Rondo the 6-piece spicy nugget with no ketchup, no pop with it. You know, they kind of spoke about who woke King Von up. Nobody never said the name, though. We didn't hear the name of who woke King Von up, but we heard that he was woken up and he went to throw the knuckles on somebody. And Louie basically explained, you know, Von is Von. Can't nobody basically stop Von. Von gonna do what the fuck he wanna do. You know, and I think that's strong because I feel that opinion. Von seems like a leader, like he loves his people, but it feels like once he get into that mode, ain't nobody stopping him. I understand that. One thing I want to say, though, I want to be honest with this. You know, the whole accountability thing. I think Von gets some accountability for what happened that day. I do think this was a fist fight that led to gunplay when it probably shouldn't have got that far. But then again, Von is not from Hollywood. He's not from Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? He's not from the limelight. He came out of prison to the streets to fame. So, you know, he might have didn't know exactly how it goes to just walk up on a famous rapper, knock him out, and not know if his friends are going to give a fuck about that. Somebody's going to give a fuck about knocking him out, just like somebody's going to give a fuck about knocking you out, you know? What went over everybody's head that day is, you know, everybody could have been killed that day. You know, because Tim hopped out the car fast, unexplainable, and got the blinking and shit. Then police got to shooting and shit. You know, we all thought Louie was killed, to be honest. When we found out he survived, that came like weeks later. People didn't even know that. People were putting up RIP to 3 people that day, you know. So this shit got real crazy. One thing I can say, and I gotta be honest now, but, you know, you gotta remember, Von and Tim don't know each other, you know. So, you know, they're going to use this internet shit to kind of show a narrative that these guys didn't like each other and shit like that. I think that interview, you know, I don't know if that's good or bad in my opinion. But one thing I can say is we heard Track basically say Von was reckless and just walked up and knocked him out and nothing nobody can do about it. To hear Louie say that, who was standing basically next to Von, and say, you know, Von was out of control, nobody can stop him, he do what the fuck he want to do. I'm not sure if that helps Von's case, you know, because remember, they're going to be showing a background, his temperament. Those are the narratives that they're going to be given to try to convict King Von of a cold-blooded murder, because Tim did not know Von. So to say they had past beefs, I'm not sure if that's going to work. Yeah, we know it was issues between that camp and Von camp. We been knew that they didn't like each other. We knew that was coming. Reese was sending out signals that he wanted to knock out, you know, Quando Rondo a little while ago and shit. So, I don't know. I can tell you, though, when I listened to the little snippet, it felt like a testimony, in my opinion. You know, I'm not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing, because I think Louie has the right to tell his story. There's so many people in the basement telling his story. Why not he tell his own story? But I'm not going to lie, with him being so close to this, you know, they might want to call him as a witness. And I'm pretty sure he's not going to be no witness. Louie most definitely like he's not involved in that kind of shit. But if you guys are willing to get on these interviews and tell, you know, subscribers in the world what happened that day, what make you think a lawyer and an attorney or judge don't want you to get on the stand and say what happened that day? You got to remember, I think, you know, in order for Von to kind of get a conviction on Lil Tim, it's gonna have to prove that, you know, this was mutual combat that just got out of hand, a fist fight that this buddy made a decision to turn into gunplay. You know, that's gonna be the lane. then you know Quando Rondo and them's gonna portray King Von as a killer, you know, a thug, a goon, a gangster. You know, when he got out his body and ready to fight Quando Rondo, it's a possibility somebody could have died. So Tim had to protect him, you know. Tim don't know about Von, but besides the shit he see on the internet. Then after Von passed, we hear stories of Von being this killer, you know, being suspected of several murders. Now we hearing his homies say, yeah, Von was like that. He was tough. He knocking niggas out and there's nothing we can do about it. I'm not sure if that plays right in that murder trial, in my opinion. But then again, it is just an interview, you know. So sometimes people does do entertainment and shit like that to spice the interviews up. So I think Louie can basically say that too, you know. So I think he has the right to tell his story. I think this is an amazing story. People want to know what happened that day. But I do think these guys are very close to the situation to be doing the interview, in my opinion. And I think it's dope that they're doing interviews, telling their story, telling their narratives. Pretty sure they know what to say and what not to say. But in the era of the internet, saying a little is saying a lot. And it's going to be a murder trial soon. If guys are willing to do an interview, you know, how willingly are they to get on the stand and testify on King Von behalf? You know, is a conviction something they want? Do everybody want Lil Tim convicted? Because me personally, I don't see nobody getting on the stand telling any stories, pointing at anybody, even if you're not snitching, just telling your own story. Just the optics and the visuals of seeing somebody sitting on the stand, talking to a judge and shit, it just don't come off right. But we are seeing a lot of these guys sitting on chairs, on platforms, telling those same stories. So we gonna follow this, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm gonna be speaking on a lot more on the culture. Got a lot more interviews gonna be dropping soon. I kind of slowed down for a little while because there's things going on in the culture I want to get my opinion on. And I noticed that a lot of people be soft on their opinions. You know, this culture shit getting big. The friendships are getting stronger. And remember, I ain't looking for the friendships. If I can gain them through the midst of this, cool. But we looking for the truth. But I wanted to bring to your attention, that's how I felt about the whole Oblock L snippet that kind of released, you know. Interview, you know, we seen the snippet of it. This Oblock L, Louie did an interview, you know, we seen the snippet of it. This the first time we really seen somebody that close to the King Von situation that kind of did an interview, you know. We listened to it, we heard Louie. I'm gonna give you my opinion on it, to be honest with you. One thing I noticed is that it kind of sound like, you know, Louie was lucky to be alive. You can clearly tell he took a headshot, you know. You can tell he getting himself back together, his motor skills and everything, because he sounded a little different than how he used to sound like on those old King Von lives and shit like that. So you can tell that God blessed him and saved his life, you know. I had an opportunity to speak with Louie over the phone. I'm not going to tell y'all guys our conversation that we had. I'm going to keep that under the personal act. But I had an opportunity to speak with him. I knew this interview was coming real soon. I'm lucky enough to be a drill historian, so I get a chance to get some of the information that a lot of people don't get first. I thought the interview was dope. I didn't see it, but I seen the snippet of it. We get a chance to see Louie temperament. I got a chance to feel his temperament over the phone. You know, they spoke about the night King Von woke